2024 open enrollment webinar for Livingston Public Schools. My name is Elizabeth Roldan. I'm here with Julie Servideo and Eileen Villar from the district. One of the big takeaways for today is if you haven't visited the IMAC benefits portal, definitely bookmark this, write down this link. Everything that we're going to be covering today, including a link to the recording of this webinar, will be shared on the IMAC benefits portal. You can go to imacbenefits.com and the guest key, which is the same for everyone in the district, is Livingston Board of Ed with the B and the E capitalized as well as the L. Like I said, everything that's related to open enrollment, your benefits, everything is currently posted on the portal, as well as comparing plan benefits. You can go ahead and review the contribution calculator to see what your per pay, per month, and annualized contributions are for any of the 4 plans that are being offered.
And the only people who cannot use the calculator for costs would be aides. If you're looking to buy up, you have to contact me, Eileen Villar.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, Eileen, do you want to just share your direct information? I have your email in one of the slides coming up, but
Okay.
can you share your direct line phone number for everyone?
Yeah, I'm at extension 8004 in the board office, which is 973-535-8000. And I'm at extension 8004.
Perfect. Thank you. So IMAC Insurance is the broker for the district's health insurance plans. If you have any questions or claim matters related to your benefits, definitely feel free to give us a call. You can give us a call first before you even reach out to Horizon, just because I know you can potentially be on hold and maybe not get accurate information, but we can certainly have your matters reviewed and escalated if need be with our contacts at Horizon. And you can give us a call at 973-450-9800 or via email at info@imacagency.com. Let me just stop sharing real quick because I have to let someone into the meeting that just popped in. Hold on one moment. Perfect. That person got in. Okay, good. Let me just make this full screen again.
I can allow people in. It looked like it allowed
excellent.
me to, so I'll do it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Perfect. So as I was saying, yes, you can go ahead and give our office a call or send us an email, and we'll get back to you, usually either same day or at least within 24 hours, and we can go over all of your plan benefits questions. So Livingston Public Schools will be hosting open enrollment as of October 1st through October 31st. Moving forward, however, your annual open enrollment will be held during the spring of 2025 and every spring moving forward for a July 1st, 2025 effective date. So in essence, if you're making a plan change now, you can technically make another plan change in the spring for an effective July 1st date. But either way, that will be your new open enrollment period moving forward. And employees that were hired on or after July 1st of 2020, those employees are required to be enrolled in the New Jersey Educators Health Plan or Garden State Health Plan and required to stay in those plans until 2028. But if you were an employee that was hired in the district before July 1st of 2020, you can select from any of the plans being offered and switch at every open enrollment. That's a common misconception that we get a lot of questions about is if you're someone in Direct 10 right now and you want to go into the educator's plan, can you switch back? And the answer is yes, based on your hire date. So again, if you're somebody that was hired before that July 1st, 2020 date, you can certainly pick from any of the plans being offered at every enrollment period. As Eileen said at the top of the meeting, aides can only choose from the New Jersey Educators Health Plan or the Garden State Health Plan. And if you'd like those costs to buy up, if you're an aide in the district and like to enroll your spouse, child, and or family, Eileen Villar in the district's business office can certainly walk you through what those costs would be for that category of employees. If you are waiving your medical prescription and or dental, you do need to complete a waiver form during open enrollment. We will go ahead. We have that posted on the portal right now. I believe it was emailed out to everyone as well. If you need access to it, definitely feel free to reach out. We'll get you a copy of it. But if you are waiving coverage, very important that you continue to complete that form and supply it to Eileen before October 31st. During this open enrollment period, you do have 4 plan options that are being offered. Again, everything is driven by your hire date as well as whether you are an aide or not in the district. The base plan for people that were hired before July 1st of 2020 is the Direct 15 plan. You can buy up to the Direct plan if you wish. But again, for those of you that were hired on or after July 1st of 2020, your 2 plan options would be the New Jersey Educators Health Plan and the Garden State Health Plan. The Garden State Health Plan and the New Jersey Educators Health Plan do have different prescription benefits, which we will get into, just to highlight what those differences are, because we want everyone to really make an informed decision before they make a plan election. We do have all the plan comparisons and summaries posted on the IMAC benefits portal right now. So one of the questions that we get most of the time is, besides what the benefits look like, is how are contributions calculated? So if you're someone in Direct 10 or in Direct 15, it's based on your salary, whether you're covering a family, single, to adult, or or parent and child coverage, and the premium of the plan. So usually those 3 calculations are what is tallied up in Chapter 78 contributions in order to determine your contributions. But the reason why there's a savings, a guaranteed savings in the New Jersey Educators Health Plan and in the Garden State Health Plan is because the premium of the plan is not factored into that contribution equation, which is called Chapter 44. So as you can see by this graphic, you are going to be paying more for Direct 10 and Direct 15 just because the premium of that plan is included in the calculation for those contributions versus the Educators Plan and the Garden State Health Plan. As long as your salary doesn't change, your contributions don't change. So even though benefit rates go up every year usually, people in those Educators Plan and in the Garden State Health Plan, their contributions don't change unless they have a salary change. We have posted on the portal the contribution calculator, but for those of you that just want to take a quick look at the contribution schedule, this is what determines how much you will be paying on your benefits for the Educators Plan, as well as for those of you that choose the Garden State Health Plan. But again, in a few more slides that we have coming up, we'll show you the calculator that's on the portal, which is super straightforward to utilize by just entering who you're covering and your salary, and it does the calculation for you. So just some of the medical plan highlights with relation to the New Jersey Educators Health Plan and the Garden State Health Plan is that both the NJEHP and the GSHP use the same network for Direct 10 and Direct 15. So network-wise, you're not going to see a difference in providers. They all utilize the same network, which is called Horizons Managed Care Network. The Garden State Plan, however, only has coverage in the state of New Jersey. That's a big, huge difference that we like to highlight to members, because if you are somebody who has children that are out of state, for example, or if you like to go to providers in New York City, for example, like Sloan, Columbia Press, Hospital for Special Surgery, those facilities are not in network because in the Garden State Health Plan, there is no coverage outside of the state of New Jersey, unless it's a true medical emergency, which is defined as a threat to your life or a threat to the loss of a limb. So that's very important to note that key difference in the Garden State Health Plan. Again, as we mentioned, based on the previous 2 slides, the contributions are calculated as a percentage of salary rather than a percentage of the premium. Your co-pays in those 2 plans are $10 for a primary care physician, $15 for a specialist, $125 for the emergency room, although if you are admitted into the hospital, that is waived. And your out-of-pocket costs may be higher if you utilize out-of-network providers. And the other big difference is the prescription plan, which uses a completely different list of drugs that are covered, including the use of mandatory generic drugs, which we will get into more detail coming up. So just to do a high-level comparison of all 4 plans, as I said, all 4 of them utilize the same managed care network from Horizon. The Direct 10, 15, and the Educators Plan utilize the Blue Card PPO network, which is the national network. But again, Garden State only has coverage in the state of New Jersey, no coverage outside of the state. Your primary care co-pays are $10 pretty much across the board, except in Direct 15, which is $15. Specialist is also pretty much $15 across the board, unless you're in Direct 10, which is $10. Your annual physical, there's no copay in network. And just moving on to your deductible, which I like to just reiterate, a deductible is the amount of money that you have to lay out before the plan begins. In all 4 plans, there is no deductible inside the network. And depending on which of the plans that you choose, you are subject to a deductible out of network for either an individual or for a family. Same thing with out-of-pocket max, which is the most that you would lay out of your pocket in a calendar year. You do have limits on that within the network. So one of the questions that we get is, well, how do I accrue maximum out-of-pocket inside the network? It's accrued by your copays. So for example, in the New Jersey Educators Health Plan, the most that as a single individual you would lay out in a year in network is $500. And that would be comprised of any copays that you lay out at your primary, specialist, or emergency room copays. But again, the most that you would lay out in a calendar year in and out of the network. Referrals are not required in any of the 4 plans. All 4 plans utilize the same in-network labs, which are LabCorp and Quest. If you go out of network, you would be subject to the applicable deductible and coinsurance. Same thing for for outpatient surgery, there's no charge in the network, but out of network, you'd be subject to your applicable deductible and coinsurance. And your emergency room copay varies depending on the plan that you choose. But I would assume most people are here in the middle in either Direct 15 or in the educators plan. And again, that emergency room copay across all 4 plans would be waived if you're admitted into the hospital. So one of the questions that we get a lot is the big differences out of network with both the Garden State and the New Jersey Educators Health Plan. They utilize a table called the 200th percentile of Medicare. So if you know anybody who's on Medicare, the same out-of-network table that is used for Medicare is the same out-of-network table that is used under the Educators Plan, as well as the Garden State Health Plan. And for those of you that are in Direct 10 or in Direct 15, you will have a higher out-of-pocket costs by switching into the Garden State or the Educators Plan, just because those 2 plans do not reimburse as much as the Direct 10 and Direct 15. So one of the things that we caution people against is if you're in Direct 15, for example, and you're looking to switch into the Educators Plan, take a note of your utilization. If you're going to out-of-network providers on a frequent basis, that's a red flag, because even though you will have a savings contribution-wise, you will have higher out-of-pocket costs because you're not going to be getting as much reimbursed towards that provider under the educators plan than you are under the Direct 15 plan. So one of the examples that I like to use is if you're going to an out-of-network therapist, for example, that doesn't participate with any insurance, something to consider switching into the educators plan, because again, you're going to get less money back per visit, and that can add up very quickly if you're going on a frequent basis. So just for example purposes, we put together a very high level example here of what it looks like to go out of network. So for example, you go out of network and that provider bills you $100. Aetna or Horizon, excuse me, will look at that and determine what the usual, customary, and reasonable amount would have been for that service to have been covered in network. And let's say in this example, Horizon determines that that would have been covered at $50. Horizon will pay their 70% in coinsurance, which is this blue box. You as the member will pay $15 in coinsurance, which is your 30%. And again, this accrues towards maximum out of pocket, out of network. But that other $50 that we still owe that provider is known as balance billing. And that would be due to by the member to that provider. This does not accrue towards maximum out of pocket. And again, this is a very small number when you're thinking of out-of-network providers, because usually out-of-network providers tend to be very costly specialists. And this is important to just make note of that look at your utilization when you're thinking of switching a plan to make sure that it's going to work for you the way that you need it to. Any questions so far? And Eileen, if you see anything in the chat, please let me know, because when I have the full screen, I don't have access to the chat.
Okay.
Thank you. So again, your prescription plan is determined by which medical plan you choose. So if you choose Direct 10 or Direct 15, you're going to be here in this first column, where generic drugs are going to be $10, your preferred brand are going to be $35, non-preferred are going to be $55. But if you are someone who is moving into the educators plan, they do, even though it is under Benecard still, Benecard does have a separate list of covered drugs. That is not to say that drugs, for example, if you're asthmatic, are not covered, there will always be a drug for every single condition, but they utilize lesser expensive generic medications first. So the program under the Educators Plan and under the Garden State Health Plan does have a mandatory generics requirement where wherever there is a lower cost generic option available, that's what's going to be dispensed. Those copays will be $5 for generic drugs, $10 for certain preferred brand drugs that are part of the formulary or on the list. If you have a prescription that is, for example, I'll use Crestor. Crestor is a brand name drug for cholesterol medication, for cholesterol management, excuse me, and it does have a generic option available that's less expensive. Crestor is not covered at all. So if the member chose to take Crestor, they would have to pay 100% out of pocket for that medication cost. If they wanted to do the generic, it would be a $5 copay. So again, very important that you understand that not only would you have changes in your medical plan by switching into the Educators Plan or the Garden State Health Plan, you would also have changes to your prescription plan. So they go hand in hand. You can't keep the same prescription plan that you have now if you're switching into the Educators Plan. If you have questions about certain medications, definitely feel free to give us a call. We can certainly speak to Benecard on your behalf just to see how a specific drug would be covered. But very important that you understand that there are these differences. What I like to tell people is if you don't have a problem with staying in network and you don't have a problem with generic drugs, the Educators Plan is a great option for you. But if either of those is an issue for how you utilize your benefits, definitely something to consider before making a plan change. So with that said, next steps, if you aren't making any changes to your enrollment, you aren't required to complete an enrollment form or take any action. Your benefits will just continue to carry on with what you're currently enrolled in. But if you are looking to make changes or if you're looking to waive coverage, you do have to complete the applicable form, which they are all posted right now on the IMAC benefits portal. All forms have to be submitted to Eileen Villar by October 31st. That's her email on the screen, evillar@livingston.org. We highly encourage everyone to utilize the IMAC portal to evaluate your plan and contribution information. Please note that, again, you're making a plan selection for the period of January 1st through June 30th. You will have open enrollment again next spring, usually in the month of May, but we're just saying spring for now, just to make sure that, just in case we host it earlier or a little bit later. But again, for this particular open enrollment period, all enrollment and waiver changes must be done on a Horizon or waiver form by October 31st, and no changes will be allowed after that open enrollment deadline passes. As we said at the top of the meeting, if you haven't bookmarked this or taken note of this, please make sure that you jot down the Livingston Public Schools benefits portal information. You can go and visit it at imacbenefits.com. The guest key is Livingston Board of Ed, capital L, capital B, capital E. The portal is great. Everything that is presented here today, the contribution calculator, forms, plan summaries, the ability to compare plans against one another, you have all of those features available on the IMAC benefits portal. So please make sure that you take advantage and take a look at it if you haven't done so already. The contribution calculator for 2024 and that first half of 2025 is currently posted on the calculator. As Eileen said, we do have the calculation for the aides is a little bit different than for the rest of the employee population. On the calculator now, for single coverage, aides can do their calculation contribution on there, but if you do need information for coverage, anything above single coverage, if you're an aide in the district, you would need to contact Eileen Villar for that specific information. But we do have all of the available plans posted on there that you can just click on any of these boxes on the calculator and double check what your contributions are. The calculator functions in Excel 2013 or later. If you don't have Excel, please feel free to reach out to us. We can run the numbers for you and either email them or tell you them over the phone so you know exactly what your contributions would be. If you try and use Google Sheets with it, it will not work. So please feel free to reach out to us if you don't have access to Excel for the calculator. We also have the rates posted on there, but I personally prefer that you utilize the calculator just because it's so much easier because the work is done for you. You don't have to worry about figuring out what percentage is correct based on your salary or your coverage tier. So I highly encourage everyone to utilize the calculator. And while this is open enrollment, we understand that life happens outside of open enrollment sometimes. So if you are making any changes to your plans because of a qualifying life event, such as a marriage or a divorce or loss of coverage, you do have 30 days to make those changes. If you have a newborn dependent, you have 60 days to add that newborn dependent, and the coverage for any of these qualifying life events would be retroactive to the date of the event. Open enrollment, as we said, is your annual opportunity to make changes. Moving forward, it will be in the spring for changes to be effective as of July 1st. And again, during open enrollment, you can go ahead and add or remove dependents, change between plans, waive coverage, or enroll in coverage if you've previously waived. We also like to touch upon child dependent eligibility during open enrollment. Your dependent children do age out at the end of the calendar year in which they turn 26. When they age out, that dependent will have the following options. They will be offered COBRA, and that's done automatically. If they meet certain criteria, which we get into in the next slide, they may qualify for Chapter 375 or Dependent 31, which is a New Jersey state mandate. And if you have a dependent child that is overaged and has special needs, there is coverage continuation for overaged children with disabilities. And if you have questions about any of these situations that may be applicable to you, feel free to reach out. We also have all the forms related to this on the portal as well. So for those of you that have dependent children that will be aging out at the end of the year in which they turn 26, if they are unmarried, have no dependent children of their own, either live in the state or are a full-time student outside of the state, and are not eligible to be on Medicare or any other group or individual health plan, they can opt in to do what's called Dependent 31 or Chapter 375. They would be in the same plan that you're in, and it's a much lesser expensive option than COBRA, which is why we mention it. They would be paying, so for example, if you're in Direct 15, they would be paying 60.8% of the single premium for that plan. Horizon bills them directly, or you. And again, this is only for medical and prescription, but very important that, again, you have an idea of this because it is lesser expensive than COBRA. We do have a link for this on the portal as well as the Horizon form, should this be something you would like to opt into. For those of you that need to search for providers, definitely go to horizonblue.com/Dr. Finder. But again, in any of the 4 plans that are being offered by the district, they all utilize the same Horizon network. So if you're switching in between plans, there really isn't a need for you to go ahead and do a search for providers since the networks are all the same for all 4 plans. Horizon BFIT is the gym reimbursement program that's available to all Livingston Public School employees. If you go to the gym 12 times or more a month, or if you do your 10,000 steps a day, you're eligible to submit through the Horizon BFIT app. You would have to enroll, and you would be eligible to receive up to $20 a month for completing those wellness activities, like going to the gym or getting your steps in, for up to $240 a year. We do have a link online on the portal for horizonbfit.com. So again, if you would like to participate and get that gym reimbursement, you would have to go ahead and enroll initially, and then you work through the app that you would have to download. Horizon also offers its members through the Blue 365 program a ton of great discounts, such as discounts on LASIK eye vision surgery, meal delivery discounts, Skechers sneakers. There's a whole plethora of discounts that you can get as a Horizon member. You would visit blue365deals.com in order to sign up to get the usually weekly, bi-weekly emails with a bunch of different savings as Horizon members are offered. Horizon also does have an app. I highly recommend the app because if you forget your ID card at home, you can present a digital copy of it through the app. But again, it really offers the same access that you would under the Horizon Blue website. You can see your EOBs, get a digital copy of your ID card, search for providers. So just another tip to keep in mind. With that said, I don't have any other matters to cover here. But again, the big takeaway today is if you're not making any changes, there's no action required on your behalf. But we do highly recommend that you make sure that your information is accurate. So if you've moved or have a change in address or anything like that, please make sure that you let the district know, just in case they're mailing out ID cards or anything like that. Make sure that your address is up to date. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to us directly. And I'm sorry, my machine went off here. But please make sure that you also go ahead and if you are making any plan changes, that you do that by October 31st. Very important. That is a very hard deadline for any changes to be made during open enrollment, and that you get those forms back to Eileen Villar by then. Eileen, anything else you'd like to touch upon, or Julie?
Nope, I think you said everything that I could think of at this time.
Perfect. Again, open enrollment's running through Halloween. Feel free to reach out to us at any time. We'd love to have a one-on-one with you just to make sure that whatever plan elections you're making work for you, not only financially, but also benefit-wise to make sure that it's the coverage that you need. But with that said, we'll post a link of this recording on the portal tonight. Eileen, I'll get you that link as well. And other than that, I appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you so much for spending 40 minutes with us. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.